All right. Let's talk about fake Christians and dummies in the president. Let's get in here and talk about the 50-year mortgage by Donald J. Yo dumbass President Trump. And this ideal that has been floated by him, I'm pretty sure this dude from Pulte, who comes from the Pulte real estate group, I'm pretty sure he floated this ideal to this imbecile sitting in the White House. And the ideal, I want to look into it and see how do people view this ideal that's floated. I was listening to other channels that cover real estate. These are real estate channels, and I was listening to a channel from a brother who actually utilized a calculator and inputted the numbers. So he inputted the data for this ideal and looking into mortgages over 50-year mortgage and what a $40,000 home, purchasing a $400,000 home will present to a person, and that's being with the payments where you're saving on a monthly average a hundred and something dollars. But over the course of the 50 years, where you're barely tapping into the principal of the loan, the home ends up being close to $1.2 million. So 400,000 home really turns out to being a $1.2 million gain for a bank. And it's nothing. This is why people have these arguments within themselves on whether or not they want to buy or whether they want to rent. And for some people, it just ain't beneficial to where they stay away from it. And then also when you're looking at the things that are, unless you got into the market at the right time, you purchased your home a while ago, then you make outright. But when you look at the scenarios to where there's the corporations that have jumped into the game, this is something I wasn't even hip to. I think I remember my Cuzzo Deuce time jumping on here and him speaking about when we had one of the real estate shows that we are talking about about the large investment companies buying up homes, other corporations buying up all the available homes that were out there on the market. And they quickly jumped in there, swooped everything up, inflated the market, pricing people out. And now when you have people that are still not making the correct actions within the market, how consumers are supposed to respond to things. When price is unfavorable, you pull away from the market. But some people, mainly people who come from other countries, they have an ignorance on the way in which markets work. They get here in America, seeing America has greater opportunities than them. They'll do anything to jump into this stuff. And they jump at this stuff at some unimaginable pricing levels that you see things at. They still jump at it. But the ideal of going into 50-year loans, uh, some people may look at it favorable. Looking at 30-year, trying to weigh those options. Pretty sure any person that's coming in to finance the loans are going to hide away some of these things. They'll weigh out to what you're looking to save, and the savings ain't really that damn big. The savings from the and I'm trying to get this Twitter pulled up because I want to pull up some of the comments that people left in response to the guy from Pulte, who is the guy in charge of housing under the Trump administration. And he's all for this because once again he comes out of that industry. He moves over to the government side of things, and then he'll flop back over. Let me see, where's this cat at? So let me get this 50-year mortgage thing pulled up and show you what pricing looks like on this, and where you're really not saving much of anything as far as your month to month go. And also being credit being another factor into what your payments would be. Let me find this one from Pulte because there's some really, really good responses from the people here in response to him and his elations to damn Donald Trump making the social media post about this 50-year mortgage shit. And maybe most people look at it like, yeah, Wait, finish. Yeah, like most people look like, yeah, I look forward to that, to being able to enter the market, being that you can get younger buyers into the market, to paying towards something that, they'll never officially own. They end up dying before they even get close to paying this shit off. So it's almost making it to where the American dream has become such an out of reach thing for most Americans. So definitely game changer says, but with a warning, 50-year mortgage will never be paid off. Says equity will grow slower and slower. It says grow slower and way slower. So I want to put this person's response to that, respond off of some of this stuff. Let me get this added on here, since I don't know my login from the thing. Says I'm already in a 30-year mortgage. Says I'll be in my late 70s. So that's the other thing. Well, a lot of people like, fuck that. I ain't buying a home. And then when you look at what has inflated the home prices, I think median prices for American homes at a median price is like 480, and that's comparing the whole American market. But in certain states and cities, that rate is way higher than that. It's very low for a lot of the cities we come from. And let me see. It says no, this is terrible. Let me get these people comments to this shit from this delusional president. Who, and also salute to the people, to the people out there at that NFL game who, when Donald Trump decided to use that moment to announce promotions or whatever the fuck he was doing at the Washington Redskins game, he kind of got a little bit of a early assessment of where his presidency has gone so far, as people in attendance at that football game let him know what their resentments towards him were. They didn't give a fuck about him, and those boos rained down. And I know they ate his ass up, and he just had to fight through it. It's one of the things Trump has been taught. Many of the silver spooners of America who comes from that side of the world have been taught to kind of just ignore things. They ignore these things. They never own up to the things that they have done, that they're doing wrong, things that are going wrong for them. They're taught to always kind of stick to their guns, to ignore the outside chatter. And that's what this fool has done, is them people boo the fuck out of him. Says Gen Zers stare when Posey tells them this would be okay. Let me pull this one up. I'm gonna add a couple of these to this comment section. And then you have this, and the reason why I put this thing about this fake ass Christian and Donald Trump and the crap that he's trying to push off about, Christianity and all that shit. Nobody want to hear that shit from your wicked ass. Ain't nothing about nobody in America who talks about being a Christian is anywhere close to being any of that shit. You motherfuckers' eyes are so set on the prize of screwing motherfuckers and doing nothing to add a benefit to anyone else in society, except for people that you're connected with, while others starve. Like, there's nothing Christian like about that shit. And that's why I always state, who the hell is your goddamn God? Who is this God they claim to worship? Who is Jesus? If Jesus was to come back, he'd come back in them damn Jesus slippers and Bruce Lee kick Trump in his motherfucking mouth. Christ has no, he has no forgiveness, and I'm pretty sure he have no forgiveness in his heart for a punk like Donald Trump. If anything, he'll strike that motherfucker down. And let me see, I'll add these. These look like some pretty good comments here. And let me see the 30-year mortgage, because even the 30-year mortgage is an issue for a lot of people. To where, for the majority of the loan, you're not even paying into the principal, which ends up inflating the fuck out of the amount that you end up paying for this home. So, and it was something that Daz was putting on there. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up Daz this post that Daz put up probably like 2 or 3 days ago, and where he was speaking about the real estate market as well, because he's into building homes now. So I'm gonna get Daz, the rapper. For those who don't know, I know it's a lot of country music listeners, rock and roll listeners, and whatever else kind of music y'all listen to in the other sections of America. You folks who don't really listen to rap music. So I'm gonna get these posts here put up real quick. Give me a hot second while I delete some stuff to make room for this. And give me one more second. So we'll get into this. I was going to do a boxing live stream to speak about this clown Oscar De La Hoya and what I think he's going to do to interfere with making that Jerron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz fight. As he's already starting that A side, B side bullshit. And my thoughts on that is like, dude, you already see what's happening. Oh, how the hell I get this chump put up here? Oh, let me move this chump Luke off this goddamn screen. About what you already see what's going on within the sport of boxing and where our fights are being taken over to. We had this dude who's come into the sport faking like he's gonna clean it up, only for him to take the sport along with the fighters over into a country that doesn't produce shit as it relates to anything in sports, especially a sport that is heavily dominated by American fighters. Well, I'm going to say that, but a sport that is definitely that's been built by the American market. And for this dude who's a foreigner, and along with this other little clown coming out the UFC, to partner with one another, and then to have a fucking fool like Oscar De La Hoya, who is too goddamn drugged, spaced out, to recognize what the hell is going on and the writing that is on the wall. Like, buddy, make that goddamn fight. We don't need to hear nothing about who's the A side, who has the upper hand, and any of that shit. Like, move that kind of talk to the side, buddy. It's time to end that kind of talk. When we need to protect things here at home, make the goddamn fights, man. Get them guys in the ring, get it over with. Somebody O has to go. And with that O being gone, that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean it destroys the fighter as long as the fighters get in there and they perform a classic. As simple as that. There's always going to be respect for warriors. How can anybody disrespect true warriors that get in there and they leave everything inside the ring? Court, field, it don't matter. Respect is be given. Only a clown motherfucker would disrespect that. And let me see. I'm getting these posts added up on here, and I'll be ready to jump into some of these comments that the people posted in response to that. And that's always supposed to be the way that things work inside of a country. You want to get the posts of the people, see where people are going in response to the ideal that Donald Trump makes as a way of saving money is only to fatten the pockets of a wealth class. It's just drive more people into a bottomless pit. And this new ideal he comes in, because in the ideal of him trying to give, because some Americans talk about this home ownership shit, to get them into this dream that many of them want to fall into and owning a home, because America has this huge crisis with housing. As many people are being displaced, the rental markets, when you look at apartment complexes, they're getting very strict on families, because a lot of families who rent an apartment knowing they got fucking 10 other people they plan to move in with them and don't want to tell landlords anything, and then they end up getting their asses evicted once it's discovered that they have people who don't exist on the lease, and then now these members of a family are left out on the street or couch surfing or bouncing from friend to friend, relative to relative. And this is why it's important for people. We have to start getting on people to get their asses up. Get up there, get on your grind, get your money, get your own shit, be selective on when you're having kids, because things are drastically changing as things as far as things go with being able to house people. And the fact to understand that, renting the property, you don't own it, especially those who live in apartment complex, probably different. It's different when you rent a home and shit like that. But those who are living on other people's property and land, such as the apartment complexes, they're putting very, very tight restrictions on allowing people to come into these places to house people, and it's become more and more difficult for people to find housing for themselves, let alone trying to get their other relatives in there, because it's not working out that way. And let me see. So I got the post that I want up here. Let me go get some of these the responses from the people. So here was the one that was put up, and it's almost similar to the channel that I was watching earlier when they're going into 30 and 40-year mortgages. So for 30-year mortgage, you got 360 payments. 400, you got 480 payments. It's 50-year mortgage, you have 600 payments. Your monthly cost, and look at the cost. There ain't that much of a difference in the cost. So a 20-year, the 30-year mortgage versus the 50-year mortgage is just a savings of like $400, and that almost worked out. No, not even four. I'm sorry, math is wrong. Yeah, that's a little under about $390 something. $390. That versus the 30 versus the 40-year mortgage is only 100 less than the 200. Let me see, what is that? 414, a little bit more than, what is that, $260 something, a little bit more than that. $270 is the savings on that. And so your total payment over the lifetime of that shit is $966,000, and the total interest paid is crazy. This interest shit has to fucking be put to an end. Over 50-year loan, the total interest is going to be $800,000. That shit is some sick-minded shit. Let me pull up this shit from Daz, and I'm going to go into the little comments, more of the comments that I have on here. Let me pull up Daz shit. Where is this one at? And let's see if he still got that video up here. Okay, there it is. Yeah, he still got it up there. Give me 1 second. Go into this Daz video real quick and finish out these. Let me remove this calculator. I was looking for a calculator on my to use for this, to put in some numbers, but there's more and more content from people that are involved in the real estate game that are plotting in the numbers and shit. And here go the one from Daz. Let me pull this up real quick.
Pointer of today, which this sign right here says $400,000 for new homes.
2 days ago, he put this
See
up.
all them houses they building right there? $400,000. Now the catch is, you're gonna be in a 30-year mortgage. $400,000. If you ain't got the money, you're gonna have to get a loan. So that's gonna triple. So it's gonna be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1.2 million you're gonna spend on a $400,000 house is what they're not telling you. When you get a loan, you're gonna, the money going up, the interest going up. So when the interest go up, that means if your payment is $2,200, $2,000 might be going to the interest, and $200 is going to the principal. So the principal has to get up to $400,000. You see what I'm saying? Do the math. Learn when you're buying these houses. It's cheaper to build one. You know what I'm saying? All them houses they building over there, overcharging motherfuckers like that. You know what I'm saying? You think you spending $400,000, you in a 30-year mortgage. How long does it take to do a motherfucking 30 years? Woo! I'm out of here.
Hey, he hit on some real shit. And once again, always right, Reggie Owens speaks on why I ain't even thinking about buying no fucking house until they make sweeping changes across home ownership. All that interest shit and all this other shit of these corporations fattening their damn pockets, and you have companies going in here biting all the available new build housing and shit. That shit should have been outlawed from the jump. So here's a response to people. So Pulte posts this comment after Trump posts this shit. Says Donald J. Trump on his Truth Social. He's talking about great American presidents, which he ain't close to none of that shit. Trump, you're a failed apprentice. You ain't even at the presidential level. You're a TV show apprentice, motherfucker. Who all these old TV dumbed down, TV watching motherfuckers thought would be a great leader. Same thing they did, TV watching motherfuckers from the 80s thought Reagan to be a great president. And y'all just do nothing, I can go on. So, FDR, come a 30-year mortgage, Trump planned some 50-year shit just to fatten the pockets of wealthy people. So Pulte, who's also in the home building sector of industry and shit, he says at Fannie and Freddie, says we were evaluating how to do an assumable or portable mortgage in a safe and sound manner. Says make mortgage rates assumable. Says who cares if big banks don't like it. So we'll pull up. So that's something important to pull up as well. I want to pull up what are assumable and portable mortgages. Let me see. Because I think it's always important. If you're going to get into something, that's why reading is so fucking goddamn important. That's why I hate knowing that people be dumb to a lot of shit just from the fact that people won't read. So I think that it is so important to fucking read on shit. And we're going to read on this one. So make sure I get that pulled up. And we'll keep that there. All right. So let me see some of the responses to Pulte. So this is the response here. We have someone else that pulls up this calculator, putting up mortgage rates at a 30-year mortgage rate at a 4% interest rate for both of them. It's barely a saving of $400. But you're stuck in this loan for additional 20 something years. Says so the 50-year loan only saves you $459 a month. Says but the lifetime cost is brutal. Total paid over the life of the loan. 30-year mortgage, the total paid is going to be for a $400,000 loan. I'm assuming a $400,000 loan. So you're going to end up paying $859,000 of that interest. You're paying $359,000, $140. Hold on, let me see how much that loan are made as a $500,000 loan. So these are $500,000 loans. And then so for the 50-year loan for a $500,000 loan, the total payment is going to be $1.1 million. That interest is going to be $656,000. And that's the other little way they dupe motherfuckers. Says so they show they showing a homeowner as his motherfucking ass's age when he first brought his home. By the time he finishes paying for this home, this fool about ready to goddamn die. And it says definitely a game changer. So this is somebody respond. Definitely a game changer. Says but with a warning. A 50-year mortgage will never be paid off. Equity will grow slower, way slower. And this is in responding to this chump Pulte's response, kissing Trump's ass. You know, kind of fanning the flames of Trump's ignorance on shit. Says I'm already on a 30-year mortgage. Says I'll be in my late 70s when I can own it. Says I pay $1,100 mortgage every month. A 50-year mortgage would have saved me what $300 a month. Says what's wrong with that? People like fuck you. And says and this person responds. So this person has a very long response. They says no. This is a terrible idea. Says this is a kick the can down the road solutions, and we've seen it before in Japan, and it was crazy. So I think it's dealing with Japan's credit thing. With Japan start moving towards offering credit and all that shit. And they fucking created a damn recession over their economy and shit. Says in the 80s, real estate prices in Tokyo were high. Says so they started offering 50-year mortgages to make things more affordable. Says if you stretch the loan, says the monthly payments look easier. Says but it's just extra leverage, and we know what happens with us. And we know what happens with leverage. Says prices went insane. Says at the peak, a single 0.4 square mile parcel of says in central Tokyo was valued more than all real estate in the entire state of California. The total land value of Japan exceeded that of the entire United States many folds. Says then the bubble burst. Says it was brutal. Prices in Tokyo fell 60 to 80%. Tokyo real estate today is still 50% cheaper than it was in 1989. Many buyers from that era says never recovered their equity. Banks spend years holding bad loans, and it says in the broader economy stagnated. Says longer mortgages did not make housing affordable. Says they made prices higher, slowed down equity accumulation, and left households more exposed when prices fell. The crash was deeper and the recovery was longer. It says because everyone had borrowed too much. Says from most people in the United States, the house is the retirement plan. Says that retirement, 75% of the median American net worth is their primary residence. Says 30-year mortgage aligns with people's lives. Says it pays down fast enough. It pays down fast enough that they own their home by the time they stop working. A 50-year mortgage changes that. Says equity builds slowly. Leverage stays high. People remain exposed for longer. Says I like that we are thinking outside the box. Says but this doesn't solve affordability. Says it hollows out the main building mechanism for the majority of the population, and will have other bad implications. And that IMO shit, I think that's in my opinion, says the only solution is to build more. Says we need supply side solutions, not induce demand. Come on. And that's the actual fact. And that's the reason why they can keep inflating the damn price in our homes, is to, add this little uh demand, this supply and demand bullshit. And that's why they would, like, people were bringing up how corporations immediately jumped in on available supply in the real estate market and buying it at a higher cost, pricing people out, and then they go about renting shit out. And he says, why wouldn't you just forbid BlackRock from buying up all the real estate and developments? And that's the other thing. Groups like BlackRock coming in here buying up all the available supply and shit. And this is, I think this is being conducted before Trump, right? And then says how was paying 200% in interest. Says how was paying 200% in interest to the banks a win for the average American family? Come on, talk to him. This comment says the Gen Z stare when Pulte tells them that you'll now be able to buy a house at 37 instead of 40. But it won't be paid off till you're 87. Motherfuckers. And that's kind of what happens with the real estate market any damn way. The homes end up going right back to the damn banks anyway, damn way. You die, you ain't pay it off, your kids ain't gonna want it. Pro America says the 50-year mortgage would substantially lower mortgage rate payments, says, and help more people get into a home. That doesn't mean you have to take 50 years to do it, says, but wouldn't it be nicer to have a lower payment, says, when you were getting started in life? Most people end up refinancing several times throughout their lives anyway. Says maybe at some point you can refinance into a 30-year or 15-year loan, says, but this would help more people get started. And this person sounds like an idiot, pro-Trumper, and his page name is Pro America. Brooke Gossett says, for those of you saying 50-year mortgages are a get-rich scheme for the banks, you're right if nothing changes. 50-year mortgages says how to help buyers, not just banks. Trump and the FHA says wants 50-year loans to lower payments. Says, but at 6.5%, says buyers paid 2 times the interest. And it says how to fix it. Says, for example, $400,000 loan, 50-year term, lowers the payments to $1,800 a month versus $2,000, which is like $200 savings and shit. Says the cap rate at 5%. Says cap the rate at 5%. Cut total interest to $518,000 versus $693,000. Man, they should not be getting this much interest out of shit. That interest shit needs to be taken out of the market and shit. This is basically a tax on shit. Says make years 31 through 50 principal only. So $1,100 a month, says zero interest. Says no prepaid penalty. Says refinance anytime. Says total freedom. And says the results, same low payment. Says $518,000 in total interest, like a 30-year. Says banks still profit. Says buyers finally win. Man, fuck all that profit to the banks. Just bullshit to me. But yeah, that's what I'm like. The solutions this fool comes up with is some just idiotic shit. And the Deuce in the building says, "What's up?" He says, "Where's your calculator?" No, I could have. I just used theirs. I wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't let me plug in the numbers to change to put in 50-year loans from the calculators I was finding. And the Deuce says the housing structure is also something that needs to be abolished. Says we need a new Homestead Act, says or something like that. But even I think you can go into with the Homestead. It shouldn't be how the old Homestead Act, which was given to fucking immigrants coming in from Europe, which was one of the huge mistakes, and another thing that is brought up from the people who have created the framework and arguments about reparations is that a lot of that shit end up going into the hands of newly arriving fucking immigrants who ain't do nothing to help build America. Blood never spilt in this fucking country. And they sat on land. I think what you sat on the land for a year and blah, blah, blah. The land is yours and all this other shit. But the thing is, it should be taken away from banks, or you cap off how much profit. Interest rates should get no higher than 3%. It should not be where the only incentive is how much they're profiting. The only way they want to get into it is if certain rates are high enough to where they're gonna fucking it benefits them. They're gonna fucking turn huge amounts of profits. They trade around these fucking these loans. They gamble these loans around from company to company and all this other bullshit. I think there's definitely major changes need to be done to housing. Also in the rental markets as well, because they don't want to regulate the rental market because they'll keep people out of the housing market and shit. So they allow landlords to jump rates up like this. Then when the economy goes through a suffering, landlords have issues trying to get their facilities occupied and shit. Deuce says, like, how did the banks get to own all the houses? Says the government gave them that shit. Yeah, and then I wondered what administration. I wouldn't put it past Nixon or somebody. Probably one of these old deal making ass motherfuckers like this current chump in the White House. And Deuce's action was that Daz? Yeah, that was Daz. Daz is on that real estate shit. He's building homes and all type of shit. So I want to go into this thing about assumable mortgages, and let me see. I want something that defines this one ain't good enough. A portable and assumable mortgage. Let's see. And then it's always these things. Same thing I was bringing up about this medical shit. It's all these different tiers, all these different meanings to define shit in different types. So mortgage knowledge says a portable versus assumable mortgage says which is better for your financial situation. So let's go down here. So choosing between portable and assumable mortgage can significantly impact your financial solutions. A portable mortgage permits you to transfer your mortgage to a new property, while an assumable mortgage enables a buyer to assume the existing mortgage on a property. It says in this, skipping all this blog shit, help you find, but what is a portable mortgage? So the portable mortgage, let me highlight this one. Portable mortgage is a strategic financial tool that empowers homeowners with unprecedented flexibility. Says mortgage. No, don't want to communicate with you. It is a mortgage that can be seamlessly moved from one property to another without incurring penalties or complicated procedures. Says you can take your existing mortgage if you sell your current home and purchase a new one. Unlike conventional mortgages that tie you down to a specific property, portable mortgages give you the upper hand in a dynamic real estate market. Says they enable you to capitalize on favorable interest rates, avoid hefty prepayment charges, and save valuable time when transitioning to a new property. You retain the advantage. You're already secure by keeping your existing mortgage terms intact. Portable mortgages underscore financial freedom, allowing you to adapt to life changes without the hassle of renegotiating mortgage terms or facing high costs. Says with this robust option, you maintain control over your financial future while sidestepping potential pitfalls. Embrace the empowerment of portable mortgages. Says when your mortgage moves with you, ensuring your financial journey remains assertively in your hands. Now, so I guess that'll work for people who switch fucking maybe your job moved from another state and blah blah blah. Says the pros, says no penalties. Says one of the biggest advantages is that you, and this is a portable mortgage. One of the biggest advantages is that you won't be hit with penalties. That means you can move without worrying about extra fees eating eating into your budget. The cons, one-time deals. Says remember, you can only do the portable. You can only do the porting once. Says make sure you're moving to your dream home because this move is like a one-time only coupon. And why you got all these type of fucking bullshit ass options in this market? Like everything should just be streamlined. The same thing I say with the medical shit. Shouldn't be like I gotta find this network of doctors under this plan. This plan costs this much, and that one costs that much, but this one gives you all of this, and this one don't. Like, get the fuck out of here. If you don't get this one, you're gonna die. Maybe you'll develop this health plan. I mean, this health condition. So you may want to think this one. You are hitting this age, this new age bracket and shit. You should consider like, come on, man. So it's a money saver. So the portable mortgage says, who doesn't love? So this they come with their little fancy little questions here. It says blah blah blah. So with a portable mortgage, you'll save on those bothersome closing costs that sneak up on you. Pricing and then here goes the cons, the pricing discrepancies for second homes. Opting for a portable mortgage says might not be advantageous if you plan. So you get the poor. No, I want an assumable mortgage. I'm not going to do the portable one. It says so opting for a portable mortgage might be advantageous if you plan to buy a second home at a significantly higher price than your existing one. Says the mortgage amount may fall short of covering the higher costs, leading to a financial gap that you will need to address separately. It's less hassle, says imagine skipping the administrative headache of getting a new mortgage. With portability, you're skipping the line and going straight to the good stuff. And there go the con. Moving is indeed a significant undertaking that shouldn't be taken lightly. Despite the convenience of a portable mortgage, it is important to acknowledge that moving is still a big deal. In certain situations, it may be more practical to stay put until your mortgage terms expires. You don't have to no negotiating needed. Says moving homes can be chaotic enough. Says with a portable mortgage, there's no need to haggle over mortgage terms all over again. Your term stays put. Limited relocation flexibility. Portable mortgage might not be ideal if you need to relocate frequently, such as every 3 years. So for military people, shit like that. These mortgages usually allow for only one transfer, making subsequent relocation a cumbersome process involving applying for a new or second job. Even for people with like higher education and shit who can go from company to company, you have a skill, blah blah blah. Some job across the other side of the country offer you more money, and there's a lot of people will bounce like that. Some people go on these career paths to where they'll chase the buck in a minute and they'll uproot their family or just bounce from here to here and there to there chasing that money. But that's all I got on this one. I just wanted to cover this shit with this idiotic ass president, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Oh, we got the holiday coming up, so I can stay up and do a music show on Monday, so after tomorrow, because I'm off on Tuesday. I'm outro. Peace, folks. Catch you on the next one.